Let's experience. Replacing coconut oil, butter, stuff like that.
Good morning, SEC.
Good morning.
Oh my goodness, what a beautiful day we have today. Let us stand and sing our opening hymn, We Come Together by Eddie Watkins Jr. and sing loud for the people in Texas who won their first Aggies, won their first football game in a long time, to go to the bowl. 7 overtime. Kick it. I love you and I love you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Before we say we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together in the name of God. We come together, we come together, we come together in the name of God. Take over the person next to you, the person next to you. I recognize the God in you. I recognize the God in you. Those people are in the sanctuary. Come on, voice yes. We come together, we come together, we come together, we come together in the name of God. We come together, we come together, we come together in the name of God. Every walk of life, every walk of life, every creed and color, every creed and color, if you be unite, you preach if we unite, in all of the body church. Yeah! Look at the person next to you, look at the person next to you, namaste, I bow to you, namaste, I bow to you. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Before the summer heat we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together in the name of God. We come together, we come together, we come together, we come together in the name of God. We come together, we come together, we come together in the name of God. Yeah. Come on here. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Those of you who don't know me, I'm Jeff Solich. I also go by Jeff G. And it is my pleasure to be back here once again. It's every other week, usually. We're getting ready to go in the holiday mode, so it's going to be less predictable than usual. But whenever I can get here, it's usually. This song is by Luca Blue. I've got to get the other song in. Yeah. Out in the cold, dark winter's day, we come together, looking for springtime's grace. We live our open hands deep into the well, where our rivers run to. Who can tell? Before our hearts and faces, let's heat up the turning. Something about our spirits never stays the same, never stays the same. Don't be afraid of the light that shines within you. Don't be afraid of the light that shines within you. Don't be afraid of the light that shines within you, within you. So many lights and shadows, so much to give away. Brilliant dreams in waiting to see the light of day. We step up to the well at the dawn of springtime. And when we go our way, we let the light shine, let your light shine. Let your light shine. Don't be afraid of the light that shines within you. Don't be afraid of the light that shines within you. Don't be afraid of the light that shines within you. Don't be afraid of the light that shines within you. Don't be afraid of the light that shines within you. Don't be afraid of the light that shines within you.
Oh, wonderful words for today's time to be together. So thank you, Jeff, and good morning. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Yay! Good morning. I'm Debbie Hazelton, and it is my honor and privilege to be here today with you. And up here with me also is the platform assistant, Steve Uzun. I never knew how to say your last name. I'm so glad you told me. Yeah, all right. So I would really like to welcome you here to the Spiritual Enrichment Center of Dothan. And for this hour of remembering, what does remembering mean? Reconnecting and celebrating the truth of who we really are. We welcome everyone here this morning, especially those to notice anyone here for the first time. If you would please stand.
She's in the nursery.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay.
She's coming back. She'll come back.
Okay. Well, if you're visiting here for the first time, we extend a special welcome, and we would like to have you introduce yourself. Are you back in here yet?
No.
And please sign our guest book at the front door, and please pick up a visitor's package before you leave. And let's see. Well, let's turn this over to the wonderful. Gosh, what do we call him? The wonderful Kahuna, big Kahuna. Dear Marvelous Marvin for the announcements. Yay, Marvin! How's it getting nervous?
His Majesty would be nice.
His Majesty Marvin.
Yes, announce myself. Okay. We got kind of a sparse crowd today. People, I guess, are traveling. I know Glenda is on her way to Florida today for a short retreat for a few days. And I want to make note of all the volunteers who are making this service possible. Jackie is doing our PowerPoint back there. Daisy is making our Facebook page happen.
Yeah.
And Dr. Brooks, otherwise known as Geneve, is doing the sound. And as Judy mentioned, Steve is our service assistant. And Jeff Key is our music person. And Cecilia is watching over our children. We appreciate that. Jeff, our Knowles didn't do too well yesterday, did they?
They did not.
No.
Maybe next year.
I'm tired of thinking that.
Yes.
But I don't, to be honest with you, I don't take much stock in this.
We got to keep the faith. So, this is a kind of an interesting weekend. 55 years ago, those of us who were old enough to have remembered well that time, this was the weekend that never happened, basically. We all spent the time glued to our TV sets watching JFK's funeral. And so it just kind of never happened. I was in school at Florida State, and everybody at the dorm was down in the break room watching it on TV. And many of us thought that it couldn't get any worse. And it proved that we survived that. We can survive anything. So. Okay, Wednesday night at 6 p.m., join us for our Wednesday service. Reverend Audrey will be continuing with the Soul of Money. We'll be discussing chapter 12, Collaboration Creates Prosperity. So we're looking forward to that. Saturday, next Saturday, anybody know what's happening? Decoration. We're decorating the sanctuary here for the holidays, so please show up around 9 o'clock. We certainly appreciate that. And we'll see if one of our ministers or practitioners can manifest a feast for the workers. Oh. And let's see, December the 2nd is Potluck Sunday. That's next Sunday. And so bring your favorite dish, and we'll have a big old time. Our plant-based classes continue at SEC, December the 5th, Wednesday, 6 p.m., hydroponic gardening. Learn some of the basics. If you need any additional information, please contact Dr. Brooks. That's her back there on the soundboard.
Or also Dr. Virginia Schaefer's leading it. And Clifford,
Yes.
Clifford Judge is also leading it.
The other doctor. We got lots of doctors. I've got this little place on my own. Okay. December the 9th, we will have a special treat. Nikuk Rai of the World Bridge Media will be joining us as a guest musician in the service. He will also be teaching a class following the service. The topic is natural time, mind and nature exploring time as the universal factor of synchronization.
Wow.
They are suggesting a love offering if you would like to stay for that workshop. It sounds very interesting. Desdemona is continuing her class. And from all reports, she's doing an outstanding job. At least that's what she says.
It's awesome. She is.
It is awesome.
There are a number of potential classes that are available for folks here at the SEC. If you're interested in them, please check the details on your weekly e-blast that Audrey sends out. And if you're not getting that email, fill out one of the guest cards and put your email address on there, and you'll be able to get those. But there are so many, I won't go through them all. December 20th is our next opportunity to serve at the Dothan Rescue Mission. This will be our Christmas dinner. We will provide gift bags to the residents. So please donate warm weather gear, hats, scarves, any toiletries, other items. There will be a box in Peg Hall for items to be placed. We will meet here at SEC on December the 15th to put the items in the bags for distribution on the 20th. So the 20th will be when the Christmas party will be at the rescue mission. Many of you know Doreen Barranco. She's been operating Health Concepts over on the north side of the circle for almost, I guess, about 20 years now. But she decided she's had enough and she's going to retire. She has donated a number of books that are appropriate for us. So please check our library and browse through there. Many of them you may be interested in. There's a love offering box on the shelf where you can leave an offering. So that's for books donated by Doreen. Third Thursday of every month, we serve at the rescue mission. I've already mentioned that. A Course in Miracles is offered each Sunday morning at 9:45. Sunday meditation at 10:30. Today led by Charles, I understand. Was that what happened? And a vision and board meeting is on the third Sunday of every month following the service. Did I miss anything or anybody or forget to insult somebody? Thank you.
Now's the time for our affirmations. We'll start with the Christ level of consciousness.
Christ level of consciousness is the only presence and power in the spiritual enrichment center and in my life. All else gently and easily falls away. I am awakening from fear to the power of my choices. I look beyond appearances to see the wholeness of my being in every situation. I live my own truth in my own spiritual connection with the divine. I have all the courage I need to be my own truth self.
And so it is. And our inspirational readings will be read today. I'll read the daily word and Doc will read from Science of Mind. Our daily word for today is home blessing. My home provides an energy of divine love to all who enter. When I consider the seemingly negative energies in the world around me, I may wonder how my positivity makes a difference. The answer can be found within the boundaries of the space that is my home. My love enfolds the physical form that is home for me, ensuring that it is safe and comfortable. With the same spiritual energy, I include all those who live within my home and those who visit. If there is another space that I consider a sacred space, a nature sanctuary, a spiritual center, or more, I include it in my prayer. In my prayer intentions. It too radiates the same divine love that fills my heart. I am grateful for the comfort and support it provides me and all who enter there. The scripture reading is Isaiah 32, verse 18. My people will abide in peaceful habitation and in quiet resting.
What choices are you making? There's a way that seems right to a man, but in the end it leads to death. Proverbs 14:12. To learn how to think is to learn how to live, for our thoughts go into a medium that is infinite in its ability to do and to be. Science of Mind. On choices and consequences, Swiss-American psychiatrist Elizabeth Kübler-Ross said, I believe that we are solely responsible for every deed every word and thought throughout our lifetime. Do we believe that? And if we do, are we taking the responsibility for our choices? Or does someone else get the blame? Here's an insight. We lose every time we play the blame game. We lose our power to affect change. Do we ever take time to truly evaluate our choices? That split-second reflection can make the difference between success and failure, victory and defeat. Begin today. Let's not make another choice without considering the consequences. Is one choice helping or hindering you? Is another choice taking you forward or throwing you backward? Life is not a matter of chance. Life is not a matter of chance, but a matter of choice. And we increase our chances for good by making better choices. We must align our active choices with our desires, dreams, and destiny. This places us on a path of certain progress and personalized success. There are choices that may seem right in the beginning, but they don't produce good results in the end. We can't afford to make those choices. Choices like eating more than we need, spending more than we have, doing less than we are capable of doing. These become barriers to our success. We mustn't fall victim to these faulty choices. They lead to the demise of our true happiness in being. Right choices produce right results. So let's consciously make the right choice every time. The affirmation: I am living a fully inspired life. I make choices that enable me to fulfill the deepest capacities of my higher self.
Now we will sing Surely the Presence, which is put on the screen.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each place. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
And surely the presence of God is in this place. We feel it when we walk in the door or out in the parking lot. We see the loving faces all around us. We know that we all bring it with us when we come, for the presence of God expresses through each and every one of us in unique and individual ways. And by our appreciation and recognition of it, it expands and multiplies in our awareness and experience. We bless all those who gather for spiritual communion, whether in churches, synagogues, cathedrals, temples, Native American altars, or out in nature. We know there are many paths, but only one God, the God of love. We bless our service today and all who are here to participate. We bless Debbie, who brings us a message to inspire and uplift us. We know that the Spiritual Enrichment Center is a beacon of light in our community, and we give thanks for this spiritual community. And now, feeling that connection with our indwelling spirit, let's sit in the silence together for a few moments and listen. I give thanks for this time of being together, this time of celebrating God in our lives, this time of spiritual renewal. God is so good, and we are grateful. Now, join us, or join me, join us all in our opening prayer, which is printed on the screen and in the bulletin.
There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God the good, Amen.
Now we're going to sing.
And even though the center isn't decorated for Christmas yet, I thought I would sneak in a Christmas song. And I have all of you as willing accomplices. This song, everyone knows 12 Days of Christmas, and I believe you folks have done this version before, the New Thought version. I did a little bit of history research on this. The song 12 Days of Christmas was an old traditional melody, and the original lyrics were written by Frederick Austin. But this song has a distinction of having been mutated more times through different versions and parodies of Doug and Bob McKenzie comes to mind. More different versions than any other song in history. So we're making history just by doing this. And this New Thought version was written by Joan Curley. So please sing with me.
Yeah, we're supposed to stand for.
I think standing would be good.
Yeah.
This is a high,
Congregational.
this is a high energy kind of song.
Day of Christmas, my spirit said to me, you need to forgive me. On the second day of Christmas, my spirit said to me, love everyone, and you need to forgive me. The third day of Christmas, my spirit said to me, cast out fear, love everyone, and you need to forgive me. The fourth day of Christmas, my spirit said to me, pray every day, cast out fear, love everyone, and you need to forgive me. On the fifth day of Christmas, my spirit said to me, God everywhere, pray every day, cast out fear, love everyone, and you need to forgive me. On the sixth day of Christmas, my spirit said to me, look on the bright side, God's everywhere. Pray every day, cast out fear, love everyone, and you need to forgive me. On the seventh day of Christmas, my spirit said to me, always be thankful, look on the bright side, God's everywhere. Pray every day, cast out fear, love everyone, and you need to forgive me. On the eighth day of Christmas, my spirit said to me, know you're abundant, always be thankful, look on the bright side, God's everywhere. Pray every day, cast out fear, love everyone, and you need to forgive me. On the light day of Christmas, my spirit said to me, strive to be patient, know you're abundant, always be thankful, look on the bright side, God every day. Pray every day, cast out fear, love everyone, and you need to forgive and release. On the 10th day of Christmas, my spirit said to me, try meditation, strive to be patient, know you're abundant, always be thankful, look on the bright side, God every day. Pray every day, cast out fear, love everyone, and you need to forgive and release. On the 11th day of Christmas, my spirit said to me, help those who need it, try meditation, strive to be patient, know you're abundant, always be thankful, look on the bright side, God's everywhere. Pray every day, cast out fear, love everyone, and you need to forgive and release. On the 12th day of Christmas, my spirit said to me, do affirmations, help those who need it, try meditation, strive to be patient, know you're abundant, always be thankful, look on the bright side, God everywhere. Pray every day, cast out fear, love everyone, and you need to forgive and release.
Our message today is paying our good forward, and it will be given to us by our very own Debbie Hazelton. Please help me up.
Well, thank you, Steve, and thank you all. Thank you, Jeff. I've never heard that version of that song. I've never heard that for so long, and I've never heard that. That is a keeper. And if anybody was feeling like we are singing too much, then you got a big dose of it right there. Wow, so good morning, good morning. When I knew that I was speaking, I, of course, started spinning titles in my head. And last night I had this whole thing written out. And just as I was going back through it and editing, my little machine decided to lock up, and it went into cyberspace somewhere and never was able to be recovered. But, you know, Spirit's been working with me and has been saying to me, come on, come on, come on, just get up there and do your thing. You've done it before. You need to just trust. And so that's what I'm doing. And that's really part of my message today about paying our good forward. And I almost feel like I could just sit down and say end of service based on that song, because that had everything in it. It really did, you know. But when I thought of talking, when I knew I was talking the day, the service, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, the first title that came to me, I said to Des, oh, I know what it's going to be. I'm going to talk about leftovers. And, you know, because for some people, leftovers is the best part of Thanksgiving. Some people sort of say, you know what, I eat turkey all year, but the best things are those leftovers. And then some people, by the time they get to Sunday, they're like, anybody in here already feel like, I've had enough leftovers?
No.
No? Okay, well, good. And then I thought, well, of course, it's got to be about spiritual. But if I talk about spiritual leftovers, well, then it would sound like I'm going to be talking about forgiveness. And in a way, I am. And that was covered in the very first one of that song, Forgive and Release. And I noticed that forgiveness is one of those really hard. It's probably the hardest thing that we humans end up having to do is forgive. And a lot of times people will say, well, I'll forgive, but I'm not going to forget. Or they'll say, well, I've forgiven, but I can't forgive myself. I was on somebody's YouTube channel the other night, and I'm looking back through the chat of people writing comments, and many, many times people are writing, self-forgiveness is so hard. And I heard a nun once say, in a class I was taking, she was one of the students, one of my peers, and she said she had heard that it's up to us to forgive ourselves and up to God to forgive everyone else. That's a unique perspective. What if our job is just to forgive ourselves and leave all of that other stuff about everyone else to God? I think that self-forgiveness is still a full-time job. And I think that's why it is so challenging for most of us to forgive ourselves. I mean, if I just say to you, well, what about that time you did that thing, or you said those things? Or what about that time or those times that you didn't do certain things, or you didn't say what maybe could have been said, or you might beat yourself up and say should have been said? What about those very private places where you kind of go, ugh? And how many of you, even when you hear about all the dirt coming out about different people, think, I'm glad that's not me? Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Say amen if you know what I mean. Amen. Yeah, we know. And, you know, I have some thoughts about all of that stuff that keeps coming out about people. But what if I were to tell you that those places where you feel, or any of us feel like, oh, I'd almost rather not remember what I did or didn't do, and what I said or didn't say. I would almost rather not remember. Why did she have to bring that up this morning? I wasn't even thinking about those things. Okay, but what if I tell you that those are your places of greatest, not only wisdom, but empathy. Empathy. Empathy is the missing piece. It's the e-learning that we have available to us that makes forgiveness such an incredible tool, such an incredible bridge to move between feeling horrible, suffering, having that long, dark night of the soul, and in claiming and rejoicing in our freedom. Forgiveness is that place where we get to move into that feeling of really knowing that the joy of the Lord, or the joy of the spiritual law, is our strength. Oh my heavens. I wonder, how many of you feel like you have felt your very story of where you used to suffer with lack of forgiveness? How many of you have felt that change and really feel like your story has been rewritten as you have moved forward in your life? How many of you felt that? Yes. Yeah. See, you already know. I'm preaching to the choir here. You already know. And yet, for many years, as long as I was in New Thought, I still was holding on to my old stories. I still had them. And there was a wonderful speaker named Mary Lee Zuwatsky who used to talk about, she actually had a book called, I think it was called, Who the Hell Do You Think You Are? And she was really saying that we had no right to be so arrogant, to think that we had to do it all, that we had to be so humanly perfect. And we have no right, in a way, to chastise ourselves, because we were made in an awesome way, or many times we have been made and had a sense of feeling remade by this wonderful creative energy, this essence, this source that we come here to remember and be absolutely enthralled with, reconnecting with this wonderful source that we call by many names, many wonderful names. We call it God, we call it spirit, we call it essence, source, lots of different things. But we have no right, in a way, to chastise ourselves, to complain about our bodies, to judge ourselves, as we are made by this wonderful essence. And yet, that is where we often are the hardest on ourselves. That is where we place the greatest amount of blame and beat ourselves up. I should have said, I should have done. I wish I hadn't done this. I wish I hadn't said that. And yet, do you think that we are chastised by spirit? I don't. And I think that's why we come to New Thought. Because we know that we don't believe in that old, wrathful God. And some of us yet still might have little closets, little places, little boxes of old, oh man, I sure hope I'm going to heaven. I sure hope I'm not chastised. But really, what if you could imagine being face to face with this essence? Face to face, what if it is comprised of all the most loving people you've ever known, or all the most loving energy you've ever contemplated? What if you're face to face with it and you find out that you are not condemned for any of your human experience? What if you are understood based on who you were at that time and what you were going through at that time? And what if you're told that you are loved, that you are set free, and you're charged with the mission to pay it forward, to go forward into the world, and to use those experiences, not to beat yourself up with and beat yourself up with in the middle of the night, but to draw on them for empathy, to draw on them for wisdom, to remember that you have been there. You have been there, done that, with all kinds of stuff that gives each of us the ability to not chastise others and to not judge others, and to remember that in the human experience, we will remember, we will do imperfect things. In the human experience, we are going to do all kinds of less than perfect things, because we came here not as our natural selves. We are natural. We have our natural selves. But we came here to embody these times and these places, to show up and even maybe to forget for a while and then to remember. What does it mean to remember? It means to reconnect with this essence. It's almost like God is playing with us and saying, let's play a game. I'm going to send you out there because you wanted to realize the wonderfulness of it all in the physical, to bring it all about, let's say. And then I'm going to let you rediscover who you are. I'm going to let you rediscover the essence of who I am, who you are, and who we are all together as this oneness, this fascinating oneness. And I'm even going to show you who you are in other people. When you're going around and you're not liking behaviors of other people, guess what? That's a little knocking on the door. Oh, see who you are in this moment? Or when you're beating yourself up, and you're going to remember other people who don't like who they are. There's a wonderful story of Leo Buscaglia. You remember Leo Buscaglia? Some people call him Leo Buscaglia, but an Italian Leo Buscaglia. He tells this wonderful story of a peach that came into this world, and it was a beautiful, absolutely succulent, voluptuous peach. Only when it was there in the world, it saw that peaches were not in. It was not cool to be a peach. It saw the bananas. I mean, the bananas are hanging out. They're just having a good time. They get to be appealing. They get to go into the smoothies and the pies and the wonderful banana pudding that Tony made at our house. They get to do all kinds of things. So this peach said, I don't want to be a peach. I'm going to turn myself into a banana. And so it started to work at that. And I mean, it started to really reinvent itself. And it went and it had, oh man, surgical procedures. And it took all those health food supplements and herbs. And by golly, it turned into a fabulous looking banana. And it said, ha, I made it. And it went out into the world and started doing those banana things. And then all of a sudden one day, somebody was digging for that dirt, you know, and they said, that banana looking thing over there is not a first-rate banana. Guess what? It's being an imposter. That banana is not a banana. It's really a peach, and it's been fooling all of us. And so some little crowd got together and they said, okay, banana, enough of you. Banana, split. And so here we are in the world, sometimes thinking we're not supposed to be the peach that we were created to be. But guess what? There are some people like me who like peaches much better than bananas. I will pass up a banana any day for a peach. So please be the peach that you are. And remember, there are many people who need to know they may not need to know the vulnerable places of everywhere that you've been, but they need to know that you've been. They don't need to know what they should do. They don't need to be preached at with all the things that you know or think you know. And sometimes I need to know when I need to stop working. Sometimes it's time to listen and be there. It's time to show up and love the hell out of people. Love the hell out of everything and everyone, because that's what we all need. So I want to give you a little poem that I found in a book. This is a quote by Shel Silverstein, poet and author. How many slams in an old screen door? Depends how loud you shut it. How many slices in a bread? Depends how thin you cut it. How much good inside a day? Depends how good you live them. How much love inside a friend? Depends how much you give them. Yeah. Okay. So let's have our affirmation, and then we'll have a little bit of meditative prayer, and this thing to refresh. Okay, our affirmation on the screen. I have all the courage I need
to be my real true self.
Real true self. Oh, it would be nice if this thing read right. But I have the courage I need to be my true self, and that's what I want you to get from this. So let's go into a quiet place. Oh, great Spirit, we embrace this time knowing that it is ours to pay our good forward, to practice forgiveness as we dare to be okay with all the places where we have been, with all the things that we have done or not done, said or not said. We know that with Spirit we are okay. We know that we have had many lessons and that we have had our scrap paper, our mistakes like the photographers had, and that those are our business, no one else's. And yet we can show up and we can give our love and our compassion. We can give our forgiveness, adding our voice to the one voice that we are part of, to the great love that we are part of. And so it is. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Amen. Special music.
In a few minutes, maybe we'll want to sing, Yes, There Is Peach on Earth. And then again, maybe
We'll just be bananas and
for now, this is a song by Mark Shepard. It's called Wash My Heart. My heart, feed my soul. Teach me to love so I can be whole. Break the bread, pour the wine. Fill up my questioning mind. Touch my heart, feed my soul. Teach me to love so I can be whole. Break the bread, pour the wine. Fill up my questioning mind. Stepping off the street and have a seat. I will wash away the dust and breeze. Leave your troubles at the door, my friend. Welcome home, you're at the Jones. Touch my heart, take my soul. Touch me to love so I can be whole. Make the bread, pour the wine. Fill up my questioning mind. Touch my heart, keep my soul. Teach me to love so I can be whole. Make the bread, pour the wine. Fill up my questioning mind. Up inside where you are safe and warm. Together deep in weather. Love the shadows till they blaze with light. Dance your dreams until you lift it. My heart, my soul. Teach me to love so I can be whole. Make the bread, pour the wine. Fill up my questioning mind. Touch my heart, feed my soul. Teach me to love so I can be whole. Make the bread, pour the wine. Fill up my questioning mind. I am, whispers all that is. You're just as much a part of this. Each way is separate, yet it's all the same. You are you, and yet you're also me. My heart, keep my soul. Teach me to love so I can be whole. The bread, pour the wine. Fill up my questioning mind. Touch my heart, feed my soul. Teach me to love so I can be whole. Make the bread, pour the wine. Fill up my questioning mind.
Now is the time in our service where we have the opportunity to circulate our food through the spiritual practice of giving. Please hold your gift and say with me the blessings of love offerings and tithes. Bring on this ring. Freely I give with an attitude of abundance, for I know that I give joyfully, I receive abundantly. For the law of circulation is active in my life now, and so it is.
Let's sing I Am So Blessed together for those who are on screen. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful. All I am. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I hear. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all I do. Every day I am so blessed, every day we are so blessed.
know that we are all blessed by all the wonderful tithes and offerings given here. The one that goes towards all the goodness the spiritual Enrichment Center is to spread its light from here to 30 years from now. I'm so grateful. Thank you, God, for all these tithes, knowing that as we give, so we grow. And I know that all is well. Bless us all. So it is.
Peace on.
Peace on. Yes, let's do
We have no banana. We be able to do this with a straight face.
Yes, let's do it.
That's right. We are the wayward.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, and with all of me. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is my longing now. With every breath I take, yes, this is my joyous vow. To take this moment and live this moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Please repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening in my life right now.
Something wonderful is happening in my life right now.
I know it.
I know it.
I feel it.
I feel it.
And I allow it, and I choose to pay it forward.
And I allow it, and I choose to pay it forward.
Thank you, God, and so it is.
Thank you, God.
We're gonna need to get a sound effect rim shot. These two are